It's 12 o'clock and you're watching news analysis live on Politics and Business TV. The top stories. Petrol landing costs now 1,117 naira per litre, says marketers. PDP governors warn against presidential interference in Edo Ondo gubernatorial polls. Nigeria records 22 building collapse, 33 deaths in 7 months, says Koren. Details coming up shortly. Welcome back. I am Amina Idris. Now the news. The landing cost of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, was 1,117 naira per litre as of Tuesday, July 16, 2024. The major energies marketers and Association of Nigeria announced on Wednesday. Mayman disclosed this during a webinar with journalists on Wednesday. The association revealed that the landing cost of diesel was 1,157 naira per litre, while that of aviation fuel was 1,127 naira per litre. According to reports, the 1,117 landing cost of petrol is far above the pump price of the products in Nigeria. At the moment, filling stations operated by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and those of the major marketers sell PMS at between 617 naira per litre and 660 naira per litre, while independent marketers sell for 700 naira per litre or more. NNPC, the sole importer of petrol into Nigeria, has consistently denied subsidizing the cost of PMS but refused to disclose the landing cost of the product. It is on the report that the revelation from Mayman is almost the first from marketers in the industry, as the landing cost appears to have been shrouded in secrecy by the importer of PMS. And now the governors elected on the platform of People's Democratic Party (PDP) rose from their meeting in Enugu yesterday, warning against any presidential interference in the forthcoming off-season governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states. They also denounced what they described as the abysmal and lackluster performance of the All Progressive Congress APC-led federal government, while also commending the governors of PDP-controlled states for their innovative approaches to developmental projects across the country. The meeting, which had in attendance 12 of the 13 governors of the PDP extraction physically present, also threw its weight behind the embattled Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State and pushed for expedited negotiation of a new minimum wage. Presenting the communique at the end of the meeting, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum and Governor of Bauchi State, Senator Bala Mohammed, said the governors admonished all the parties to ensure that campaigns were issues-based, violence-free, and in strict compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act. The Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, the regulatory body governing the practice of engineering, has said that Nigeria recorded 22 building collapses between January and July 2024. The president of Koren, Professor Sadiq Abubakar, made this known at a news conference on Wednesday in Abuja. Abubakar said that from January to July 14 alone, at least 22 cases of building collapse have been reported in Nigeria, with Lagos accounting for 27.27%, Abuja and Anambra at 18.18% each. He added that Ekiti and Plateau followed with 9.09% each, and Kano, Taraba, and Niger State accounted for 4.55% each. Records also show that Lagos takes the lead in the incidence of building collapse. Over 91 buildings have collapsed, resulting in the deaths of over 354 persons in Lagos from 2012 to date. You are watching news analysis live on Politics and Business. Join us after the break as we invite Mr. Wale Joshua, a chartered accountant and tax administrator, to analyze today's topic, student loan, its prospects and challenges. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The Nigerian students are all excited as the Nigerian Education Loan Fund to begin disbursement of loans to students as President Bola Tinubu presents a check to the VC, Bayero University Kano, Professor Sagir Abbas, and some students during the presidential launch of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund at the Presidential Villa in Abuja on Thursday. Now, Fund has said 110,000 successful beneficiaries of the student loan scheme will start receiving credit alerts from next week following President Bola Tinubu's official launch of disbursement. His update comes after the President Tinubu at the Presidential Villa on Wednesday handed symbolic checks to beneficiaries. The managing director of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, Dr. Akintunde Soya, noted that the fund currently has 35 billion naira in financial backing from the Nigerian government. Soya says students of higher institutions based in Nigerian South are not applying for loans because they doubt the viability. He said this when he briefed State House correspondents after the launch of the disbursement of loans to applicants by the President at the Presidential Villa, Abuja on Wednesday. He noted that more students from the north applied for the loan owing to better coordination by tertiary institutions in the region. Nonetheless, Soya said no fund was playing its part to raise awareness in the south so students in the region would embrace the scheme when disbursements begin. He also revealed that more university students had applied for loans than students of polytechnics and colleges of education. In an explainer issued earlier, the presidency said the new law replaces the repealed Student Loan Act 2023, which it said had some challenges bordering on governance and management. Purpose of the loans, eligibility criteria for applicants, method of application, repayment provisions, and loan recovery. The Act seeks to guarantee sustainable higher education and functional skill development for all Nigerian students and youths. We shall be going on a short break, and when we're back, we'll be joined by our guest, Mr. Joshua. Stay tuned. Welcome back. And now we have our guest for today, Mr. Wale Joshua, who will be analyzing today's topic, student loan, prospects and challenges. Good afternoon, Mr. Wale Joshua.
Good afternoon. How's your day?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah.
So my first question for you today is, what is your take on this student loan?
Student loan, as it is a good initiative and something new in Nigeria system. student loan as it used to be is foreign to our system before. And kudos for the initiative. Whoever has brought up this initiative, we give him kudos for that. It will give most of our students equal opportunities in access to education. You agree with me that access to education is a key one to the success of any student program. You may not enjoy your program if you are disturbed with sourcing for funds, which may be a difficult one. I could remember then combining education with sourcing for fund business activities may be difficult to approach and may take a good chunk of your time. But having a student loan on board means that you'll be able to combine your education alongside with sprouting on the wings of the student loan rather than sourcing for fund. That is if you are indigent, and equally studying to make your certificate a good one. Some students have ended up not graduating with their desired grades when they don't have adequate fund. They were forced to do many menial job businesses that are not related to their studies. Therefore, they have a divided attention. So this will give students a full opportunity to concentrate on their education and research. So that aside, student loan is a very good one, but care should be taken when introducing this particular scheme to ensure that student loan is not faced with what we call Nigerian factor. So we have to be very careful. We have to be evolving around the development of what we call student loan to ensure that the sanity of the student loan is kept. What the objectives are designed to achieve are achievable and achieved within the specified time. So student loan is a good one, is a new initiative, and should be commended.
So you made mention of the student loan, enabling students not to source for fund and focusing on their education. So I want to ask, how does this student loan work, and how available and accessible is it to the common Nigerians?
For now, the basic information we have as of today indicates that student loan is as accessible as just having your internet, going to their website, filling out a form, and then you'll be eligible to the student loan if you are qualified. Then the stringent position was removed when the old student loan act was repealed and replaced with the new one, removing the encumbrances of making sure that your parents are seen to be very, very poor, or are seen not to have some level of income in their bank account. So this has been withdrawn and replaced with a more friendly legislation. So student loan is easier to access. It's very easy to access. No competition, as we learned. No competition. No Nigerian factor per se. What I mean by Nigerian factor is that you don't need to know anybody within this system. So I believe we should be able to maintain this, because it's as good as what you have at is as good as what you maintain till the nearest future. The system is still transparent, the system is still friendly, and we expect that the system will be easier to access and friendlier to gain.
My next question for you is that what are the challenges on this student loan, what are the challenges being faced by the government, and what are the challenges being faced by the students who are the receiver of the loan?
The challenges being faced by the government, I will always tell you, is that the demand for student loan as of today is higher than what government alone can fund. So I believe that government should look into getting trustees to contribute into a pool of fund, and to see that the student loan are accessible to as many students as possible. That's number one. Number two is that the scope as of today is still limited to federal universities. So we are looking at covering all institutes of higher learning, which includes the Polytechnic, the NCE, the state university, the private universities, and even the foreign university. If you are coming from Nigeria, you should be able to look back into your country and ask for the loan, and equally assess the loan, irrespective of the currency which your country of study looks like. If your country of study demands that you fund your education through the US dollar, through the pounds, or through the euro, you should be able to access this loan in the form at which they demand for it. Kudos to the last administration. You are given DTA, you are given some other funds at a pegged exchange rate, but this may no longer be there. So if we are shutting out every other foreign student from having a capped a capped exchange rate for their DTA and for their education purpose, we should be able to give them access to this student loan, so that they will be able to cover up whatever they might be missing through what the previous administration gave the students. Yes, we may conclude that it's fraudulent, it's met with fraud, and this BTA got to wrong hands. But we should not throw away the baby with the bathwater. We should take the good notes from the last administration, and then sieve out the bad side of that scheme, while covering it up through a student loan. A refund will come in through foreign direct investment later in the future. So if I'm not learning within the four corners of the universities, I should equally have access to this student loan, because I may be learning in a technical school, in a school that has to do with vocation, in a school that has to do with many other things that are not learned within the four corners of the institution. Does that mean that I'm not educated? Does that mean that I'm not qualified for that loan? I'm still a student, for crying out loud. So give me access to this loan. Give me access to what we call student loan. So the definition of what we take as education should be clearly spelled out by the student loan, in order to accommodate most of us that learn vocation, or most of us that learn from other non-conventional universities. We have some religion universities that are not having access to this, which are qualified as education institutes. Some of these universities are religious based. They study what the context of the religion are. We have the we have the Catholic mission, for example. We have the Arabic school, for example. How are we going to extend these loans to them? Are we going to consider them as educational institutes? And are we going to consider students attending that kind of setting as indigent? The fact that I am a missionary doesn't mean that I don't have needs for this student loan. Another point is that even if I am rich, I should be granted access to this loan, because we call it loan. I may have needs for other funds while I'm still considered for student loan. Then I'll settle that later in the future. So this should be well defined, and this should be well settled in either the act or the operational guideline of the student loan administration. This will be done by the management, and this can be reviewed.
That means the student loan is not only accessible to Nigerians in Nigeria, but Nigerians outside Nigerians also. Okay. So what are the prospects of this student loan?
Yeah, student loan has set a pace for good things to come. Good things to come in that it has liberalized educational sector. Most of us doesn't have any excuse for not getting educated again. So if you tell me that it's because your parents are not rich, that's why you didn't go to school, I'll question you in 10 years to come that don't you hear about student loan? What effort have you made in accessing student loan? So that aside, another prospect is that I will be able to study the course that I want instead of thinking that some courses are costlier than the other, like studying medicine, studying architecture may be considered as costlier course than studying many other linguistic courses, which you may not buy material, you may not buy high cost textbooks for. So this may be settled through student loan, and which will make life easier, and you can achieve your prospect in terms of the student loan. Another prospect in this is that it will ease the pressure on our parents. They will not feel sickly when they feel that their child has an admission into the higher institution. It will not be a burden on them because they can easily apply to student loan. Most parents sell their wrappers in order to send their students in order to send their children to school. This may not be there again. It's a ease on the parent. Another thing is that some of us who doesn't benefit from grants, student grants in those days, we learned that some of our elderly in Nigeria now, they benefited from what they call student grants. Then they eat from the dining hall, they have their fees paid. So we have a replica, a picture of that in this current Nigeria now, if the student loan is well managed and properly guided. So we have that picture now. So student loan has a good prospect and is a win-win for all, because the government will definitely gain from that later in the future. Be that as it may, we have the interest, which I believe should not be more, which may be on the student loan itself, which the government can benefit from. And the pride of having your government catering for you is equally there, because you know that government cares for what you have and cares for your future. Education is a right for every citizen, and if it can be achieved through the student loan, I believe we should be able to clap for this administration for achieving that giant stride.
Okay, so what is the implication of this student loan on the economy? Has it affected it in any way?
The fruit of any tree is not seen at the first year, or it's not seen at the early gestation period. We have to wait till when the student loan is grown, when the students becomes workers, when the students contribute to the productivity of Nigeria in Nigeria, or productivity of Nigeria outside Nigeria. So if we have Nigerians abroad, we are sure that we can receive foreign direct investments, and we are sure that we can sell our image outside there. So that I'm sure, and the benefit of this is equally that the effect on the economy equally is that we will be looking at educated citizens, not uneducated citizens, and it will cater for most of the nomadic education. I think it will embrace, it will bring the nomadic, it will be an uptake from the nomadic education to the higher institution, because the nomadic education is there to give basic education to all, like the universal basic education scheme is achieving now. Basic education from primary school to secondary school. So there should be an uptake from that point to the completion of your education. So it's a win-win on the on the economy, because we are going to have a sizable number of educated citizens in the nearest future. And you agree with me that education makes people wise and makes them makes them at least self-dependent as it may be.
So finally, I want to ask, what is the lifespan of this loan? Will it last long, or will it just be another political bill?
If I will twist your question, I will say, will it last long to provide to be repaid, or will it be a political loan that people will just take and will take off with the loan without refunding it? I will tell you that with the system on ground now, it's difficult for anybody to run away with the loan, except government want to waive that loan personally, because ordinarily you have your BVN, which monitors all your bank accounts. You have some other personal information that will monitor your accounts. And if that is in place, that means that you may not have the luxury of running away before you pay the loan. That aside, your creditworthiness will equally be at stake if you decide to run away with the loan. So I believe Nigerian factor may not affect the loan. The lifespan of the loan, if you ask, is likely going to outlive the current administration, because the applause which the loan scheme has gotten from the general populace has suggested that it may not die anytime soon. If I will advise that the government should let it float on a fund. If it can float on a fund, it will self-service itself rather than being serviced with government and laced with political negatives. So if it's not affected by political influence, if it's not affected by political structures, political weakness, it will last long. But if it's affected by political ways of Nigeria, it may not last long. In the sense that people may take loan and settle that loan politically, rather than settle it with funds, or settle it out of their pockets. So if this is the case, it may not last long. But if we can separate it from the government business, like they used to say, government has no business in business. If you can separate it from the government business, transfer it to public-private partnership, it will last a little longer than the administration. It will last more than the administration. But as of today, I can assure you that within the lifespan of this administration, student loan has come into stay. But outside this administration, that is when we should be looking at separating the politics from the business. If you can separate the politics from the business, it's a scheme that will last very, very long.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua, for joining us on the program today and sharing your insights.
You are welcome.
And that has been Mr. Joshua, a chartered accountant and tax administrator. And that will be the size of the program for today. Bye for now.